Schwartzman is going deep every night. In-depth sports coverage. And then some. We are NBC Sports Radio. And this is Going Deep with Dan Schwartzman.
Unbelievable. I must be in a dream. This cannot be reality. Is Major League Baseball actually showing personality? Am I seeing things? Have I smoked something? Did I drink too much? Baseball has shown some personality today for the first time in a long time. And if it's an exhibition all-star game, heck, you might as well make it a true exhibition. Miking up the players, talking to the players in the batter's box, talking to the players out there on the field. That's something you never see. I didn't know Mike Trout spoke English, for crying out loud. I didn't know Mike Trout knew how to laugh, for crying out loud. And guess what? We learned all that today. He actually has a personality in that head of his. Amazing. What a revelation today in Major League Baseball. They have actually put a human face on their players. We've talked about this for years on this show, right? Baseball is dull in the sense that guys just don't show personality. You look at NBA commercials. Guys have, what ends up happening with NBA players and NFL players on TV is they become personas, right? They become characters. And we fall in love or we end up hating these certain characters. But they're guys that we kind of learn about, guys that we go a little in depth with. And with Major League Baseball, with all the stars they have, we rarely ever seemingly get any sort of human conversation or interaction with them, right? Mike Trout's the best player on the planet in Major League Baseball. The way that LeBron James is the best NBA player or the best basketball player on the planet, right? But you hear from LeBron James. LeBron James is always in the media. LeBron James always has cameras and microphones in his face, right? LeBron James comments on politics. Like it or not, that's what he does. There's personality there. Mike Trout is the LeBron James of Major League Baseball. And we can talk about the historic greatness of LeBron James. Guess what? Mike Trout is historically great at this stage in his career. Yet for some reason, we don't put cameras in his face. We don't put microphones up to his mouth. We don't know anything about Mike Trout except the fact that he's an Eagles fan and he's from Jersey, right? How many times can you actually recall hearing Mike Trout talk? Well, guess what, folks? He does have a voice. And we heard that voice today. Amazing as it is, Mike Trout actually has a slight bit of humor. We never knew he had humor until tonight because baseball decided to mic up these players and let us in a little bit. How about the taking selfies on the field in the middle of play, right? Some of you might say that's corny. I will disagree with you, and I'll tell you what. It's not corny. It's something baseball needed because everybody today takes selfies. If the NBA All-Star Game could be a fun, festive offense where everybody's laughing and joking and no one's really taking it seriously, and they get all the pub the next day in the news, why can't baseball attempt to show some humor and some personality, and maybe they deserve some pub for this? If you're going to take away any sort of importance from the game of baseball, and it was really dumb to do home field advantage for a World Series on an All-Star game. I mean, the Boston Red Sox are crying out loud to win 114 games this year, right? Meanwhile, the National League winner could win 99 games this year. But if the NL somehow wins tonight, the NL would get home field advantage in the World Series, even if the Red Sox are up 15 games on whoever comes out of the NL. That's how dumb it is. So what baseball has done is it's an exhibition game, and they have actually made it fun by letting us in a bit with these players. Sean, I'll tell you what. I don't even know what Mike Trout's voice sounds like because I never hear him talk. Right? Think about it. If I close my eyes, if you closed your eyes, and Tom Brady spoke, you'd be like, that's Tom Brady. If LeBron James spoke, you'd be like, that's LeBron James. If Mike Trout talked, you'd say, no idea. No clue.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
100% correct. And you know what? Trout actually does have kind of a little personality, so I can't say he doesn't have no personality.
But up until now, we thought he had no personality because we never hear him talk. And when we do,
he does some
vanilla stuff, but it's the vanilla stuff.
I think it's more baseball, people not watching baseball or paying attention to baseball.
I also think that for some reason, because baseball has more tradition than any other sport here, right? Baseball is a national pastime. Baseball, you could trace back 145 years, 150 years, whatever it is, right? Baseball's always had that unwritten codes. And I think baseball players feel that they have to be cliche machines more than other sports. I do. I think they feel that I'm one of 25.
That was Bryce Harper. Cliche.
Absolutely.
Cliche. Oh, this guy's great. Oh, that guy. Oh, what a tremendous talent. Trout was funny because he was in the outfield as we were watching. And he was like, "What do you think? Slider here?" Yeah. and then Smoltz didn't answer it, and then it was a fastball away, and then Smoltz goes fastball away.
But that's fun. I mean, that's what we should be
that's
seeing.
Not scripted.
It's not. Maybe baseball, right? Maybe baseball's too scripted.
Now, here's the thing: should they do this during games, regular season games? No.
But you know what though? Look at it this way: people enjoy watching the NFL Network when they mic up players, right? People like that. How many times are you like, oh, they mic'd up this guy, and you watch and hear what they say in the huddle, yelling at other players or barking on the sideline, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, right?
But this is in-game, right? We don't hear the audio from those players in football until after the fact.
Right.
This is instantaneous.
Well, I'm saying is right. Look, I don't think you can do it instantaneously during regular season games.
No, because it's a distraction, right?
It's a distraction.
I mean, I don't think owners would go for that.
No, I by the way, I hate in the postseason games when managers are obligated to talk to the broadcasters in the fifth inning.
They give you nothing.
Right. I'm thinking to myself, this guy's managing like a World Series game. The last thing he wants to do right now is worry about having to talk to you, you know? And I always kind of feel bad for that manager that has to deal with that. But I just like the fact that maybe baseball is finally starting to break out of that shell of realizing they have to be different in today's day and age to where they're not drawing the young fans, right? Young fans don't look at baseball as being cool and hip. Maybe you start making it cool and hip by doing things like that I think people look at as being cool and hip. By the way, Rosenthal, the bow tie, not cool and hip. You got to take away the bow tie.
Manny Machado, yes, cool and hip with that chain. Look at that. I mean,
I like that.
Looks good.
My God, he probably
is that a Cuban link?
I don't know. I think it weighs a ton, though.
That's nice.
You see how he's crouching right now?
Yeah.
It's not because Rosenthal's short. It's because that chain weighs a ton. How much do you think that chain costs?
Oh,
that's real.
Solid gold.
He was what, a number 2 overall pick or number 1 pick? He was a top 3 pick, right? Something like that.
Top 5 pick.
Top 5 pick. So he got a nice signing bonus out of high school.
Number 2 pick? He wasn't a number 1 pick.
No, he was high though.
Yeah, top 5, I think.
So he's been rich since he's 18. So that's a real chain.
I'd say what, 50,000?
Oh, more than that.
50. Yeah.
Got to be more than that.
Well, Aaron Judge's chain's probably 50,000.
Judge's is bigger than Manny because he's got a bigger neck. He needs more links on it, right?
Exactly. But see, in baseball, you can wear a chain and play.
You can,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas in football, you can't.
You can't. Really basketball, it's tough because you're jumping up and down.
No,
and stuff.
Yeah, you don't see anyone in basketball wear a chain.
No, football, you have the earrings though.
Baseball too.
Yeah.
So baseball should be cooler and hipper. Think about that. Hockey, you can't. Soccer, the only sport where you can wear a chain and play.
You're right.
Think about that.
You're right. You can wear a Mr. T starter kit on the field. Right. That's cool and hip.
Dion wore a lot of chains.
Dion wore a lot of chains.
When he played. Who else?
And he had the Jerry curls, right?
Roberto Kelly? Or Claudell Washington?
Claudell Washington, man, that's a name from the past.
But who's the Yankee I'm thinking of that had a lot of chains?
Luis Poloni, I think, had a big chain.
Maybe that's who it was.
Yeah. He also had some problems in Milwaukee with 14-year-olds. Remember that?
Yeah.
Luis had a little issues. Poloni. He could run, though, I'll tell you that. But this is what baseball needs to do. Baseball is the uptight sport, right? Baseball is a sport. It's snooty. That's the problem. Baseball is arrogant and snooty. Baseball doesn't want people to show personalities. Yo, don't pimp after you hit a home run, right? Don't show emotion after you strike a guy out in a big situation. God forbid you show him up, right? That's what baseball tells you, because these are rules that go back 100 years. It's nonsense. The rules from 100 years ago don't imply anymore because people have changed, fans have changed.
Well, I don't think that's a problem per se with the fans. I think that's the problem with pitchers. When you show them up and you pimp, quote unquote, pimp a home run, the pitcher's going to take it out on the opposing team, right?
Right.
That has nothing to do with fans.
No, but I'm saying is baseball doesn't want you to do those things. And I think baseball needs more personality. I think the opposing
pitcher doesn't want you to do that.
Right, because it's that unwritten nonsense.
That out of it. Yeah. You're right.
But I'm saying is maybe that's what has to happen is these pitchers have to realize, you know what? When Bob Gibson was drilling guys or Drysdale were drilling guys because their guy got hit in the 50s into the 60s, we're 50, 60 years past that. It's a different time. Guys like that.
Come on. You can't tell people how to feel.
But what are they?
I mean, what are you going to do? Go out to the first baseman, goes out to the pitcher's mound. Hey, listen now. I know he was showing you up, with that home run, but listen, come on. This isn't the 50s and 60s. You for the good of the game, don't throw out the next batter.
But it is for the good of the game. It really is.
Yeah.
Do you want guys just put their head down and jog around the bases?
Guys have tempers, bro.
They do have tempers. They're ridiculous. Who was the guy?
Hunter Strickland.
Right.
Yeah,
Hunter
beating up
Strickland.
Harper.
Who was the other guy that waited like 3 weeks before he drilled the guy?
I thought that was Hunter Strickland.
Was it
He waited
Strickland
like a year.
again?
Yeah, I thought it was him.
What a jerk. He's unbelievable. But I just think that this is a good example of what baseball needs to do to try to ingrain itself more in the social media era. That's what they have to do. Listen, baseball is at the forefront of apps, right? The Major League Baseball app is like the most downloaded app in the world or something like that. It's the most successful of the sports apps. So they've done something right. Jazz up the game a bit. I think they're doing a nice job here. You know what? It's an exhibition game. That's all it is. This has no meaning. Mic the guys up. Let us in, and guess what? Baseball fans like myself and you, Sean, I'll talk for you here, have kind of enjoyed this. It's been fun to kind of get in like this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But here's the thing. Tomorrow, will people be talking about the comments that Trout, Harper, Nat Kemp, because those are the players that were mic'd up, will they talk about and they laugh about maybe some of the things that they said?
No, and here's
they
why.
Won't.
No.
But if it were the NBA and they were equally as corny, I'm not saying, let's say that people didn't really appreciate what they said, whatever, wasn't funny, but if it was equally as bad, they would make a bit out of it.
Absolutely.
They would talk about it, they would lead shows with it, because there's nothing else going on.
Absolutely.
Right?
Here's the problem. Look at all the hosts on FS1, ESPN, okay? In those morning shows, afternoon shows, the newsy types of shows, whatever it is, panel shows. Are they baseball players on those panels? Never.
No, I don't know.
Never. It's all basketball players and NFL players. Never baseball. Baseball players are only brought in for baseball topics, right? There is no Jalen Rose who's on a show to talk about everything, a variety show. There's no baseball player doing that.
Marcellus Wiley's another one.
Marcellus Wiley's another one. You're absolutely right.
Talks about everything.
Absolutely. Stephen A. Smith's never going to talk baseball, really.
No, he's a baseball fan.
He is, but
that's
he
the one show.
does.
Actually, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, they're baseball fans. They do talk some baseball.
A little bit, yeah.
But not enough.
Not enough. I think that's the issue. Baseball players aren't being put on these shows to where, look, I'm not watching to hear Jalen Rose talk baseball. I'm not.
But you want him to talk football.
More basketball.
No, he's there for basketball.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Where's the baseball player that's representing its sport? They don't exist.
He's there for the athlete perspective
yes.
on all sports, right?
Yes.
So where is the baseball equivalent?
None.
The former
they don't
player.
exist.
A-Rod could be that guy.
He could. But he's got too many jobs right now.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Well, Manny Machado, by the way, looks like there is some sort of a deal that's being finalized, but we don't know where. The deal's in place from what we hear. We just don't know where. Dodgers or Phillies, we'll get into that next. Going deep, Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app. At AutoZone, the free Loan-A-Tool program offers specialty tools to help you get the job done right, because doing more is what AutoZone does best. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Major League Baseball All-Star Game continuing, and Manny Machado's kind of in a strange situation. We're probably watching the last time Manny Machado will be in an Orioles uniform. This is the strangest report ever. A deal has been finalized, is what people are saying. Just a couple of little things that have to be worked out. But here's the problem. We don't know what team. That team and the Orioles have done a great job in not leaking this information, apparently, right? How do we know that a deal is finalized without knowing what team it is? We're hearing the Dodgers, they've kind of leaped ahead of everybody else in terms of being the team that people believe will end up getting him. At one point today, the Phillies were the team that people talked about that apparently were going to get him. Here's the thing, though. The Dodgers want Baltimore to send some money because they're like the Yankees trying to get under that $197 million luxury tax to reset the percentage because they're getting hammered, 50 cents on the dollar in penalties. If you go under 197 or something like that, then it resets to like 18%. Okay, so the Dodgers are trying to do that as well, and they're kind of tight with that salary, where they're at right now in terms of salary. So they want the Dodgers want Baltimore to send some money along. That might be the little holdup that's hampering this deal from officially getting done tonight. Now, they're not going to announce it tonight because baseball does not want an announcement like that overtaking the All-Star game. So expect an announcement most likely tomorrow. Second half of the season starts Friday. There's no way in heck Manny Machado goes back to Baltimore. Okay? Manny Machado's flying somewhere else tomorrow, most likely the LA Dodgers.
One aspect of this that I don't think people talk about enough is how sad is it that the Orioles couldn't re-sign this kid? They drafted him. They nurtured him, right? They developed Manny Machado. And they don't even have a shot to re-sign him.
They're a big market team.
And you know what? Yeah, they're a big. Well, they should find the money, is what Chris Davis' contract's killing them. But even beyond that, here's my question to you: if they did make an effort, a better effort, the Orioles to re-sign Manny Machado, do you think he would re-sign there?
No, I don't think he would. Here's the thing: I think what happened, and this is my speculation. Okay, I think the Orioles went to him and said flat out, Manny, would you want to re-sign here? Would you stay here? And I think Machado probably said no. He wants to go and win. He's been in the big leagues, 6 years now, right? This is year number 6. The Orioles are no closer right now to winning anything. In fact,
they've had success, though, during his run.
Early, yes. But the problem is, if they were having this success now, right? Say that they built from year one of Machado being in the major leagues at 19, 20 years old to this point, then I think, yes, there's a good chance he wants to kind of be a part of that. But this is a team that's got so many holes, right? This is a team that's at a crossroads right now where, frankly, they're probably not going to be good for a while. Even if you re-sign Manny Machado, here's the problem. You probably don't want to re-sign Adam Jones if you're the Orioles, right? I mean, I think he's an aging player at this point. He's not getting any better. Zach Britton is a brittle player at this point. I think their minor league system isn't exactly great right now. Manny Machado looks at that team and says to himself, we are years away. We are years away. I can sign with the Yankees. I can sign with the Phillies. I can go to the Dodgers, whatever it might be. I could go to the Braves. I'm going to have options to go somewhere and actually win. So I think Baltimore's out.
But that's baseball's big problem, I think. Their marquee players, unless they're playing in Boston, New York, or L.A., or the Cubs, Chicago Cubs, they're leaving if the team's not winning, right?
Right.
You don't have that problem in basketball. You don't have it in football. The marquee players, they stay, and the front office builds around that marquee player. It's sad. Think about it. Could you ever imagine the Yankees saying goodbye to Derek Jeter after 6 years? Aaron Judge? Could you imagine the Yankees not wanting to re-sign Aaron Judge?
And I couldn't see them wanting to leave, by the way. I think it's the same thing.
It won't be because they're worried about winning.
No, but here's the difference, all right, with the NBA. The NBA maxes you at a 5-year contract, right?
Well, yeah.
In baseball,
they put incentives in to keep the players with their original teams.
Because if you leave, you can only max at a 4-year contract.
Should baseball do that?
Well, here's the problem for baseball. When you're talking about young talents like Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, teams are talking 10-year contracts. So a player looks at that and he realizes he's locked in to a particular city for potentially 10 years rather than 4 years. So say you're 23 years old in the NBA, right? And you think you're going to a good situation. Then you realize it's not. Well, at least in 4 years, you're going to be 27, you could get out, right? And really, the year before, at 26, you could get out because you're an expiring contract. In Major League Baseball, if you're going to sign that 10-year deal at $350 million if you're Machado, you better make sure, A, that team can win, and B, that you're going to like being there. Because at that kind of money, it's not as if teams are going to trade for you in the course of 10 years. This is it for you. So you better pick wisely as to where you're going because you're stuck there. In the NBA, if Manny Machado in 4 years can become a free agent again at 30, okay, fine. But he wants that 10-year stability, right? So he's got to pick a place, and Baltimore's not going to be that place that I think can guarantee him 10 years of success. That's why no way would they have a shot. That's why if you're the Yankees, the Phillies are spending money, the Dodgers, as we spoke about, where he potentially may go, and, of course, even the Braves, the future's much brighter. They have to get rid of him. Question is where. Looks like LA is going to be the choice. I want to get to some NFL talk real quick. Interesting thing happening in LA. What does it mean for Aaron Donald? Next, Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio, and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
So you only hear what you want to hear, huh? Well, listen to this.
35 past the hour. Going deep. Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio, NBCSportsRadio.com. So congratulations, Brandin Cooks. Dude's rich now. 5 years, $80 million extension with the Rams. They just brought him in this offseason, right? Before the draft, they traded a first-round pick to the Patriots, who got rid of him after 1 year, after he played his first 3 years with the New Orleans Saints. Isn't it amazing that here's a guy going into his 5th year, going to his 3rd team? Like, what's wrong with him? Do you look at his stats? And look, he's had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Then again, he's played for Drew Brees for 3 of them, played for the Patriots and Tom Brady for the other one. Patriots didn't find him valuable enough to keep him around after they dealt a first-round pick to get him. 3 organizations in 5 years. Kind of strange, right? Yet, look at the money he just got. He just got 5 years at $80 million. That's $16 million a year. But then again, I mean, when Sammy Watkins, who is not a productive player, gets $16 million a year, I guess Brandin Cooks in today's market for wide receivers is worth $16 million. All right, who'd you rather have, Sammy Watkins or Brandin Cooks? I'll take Brandin Cooks. So I guess the Chiefs were just dumber to give Watkins $16 million a year than the Rams. But here's the problem that I have with the Rams giving Brandin Cooks this money, okay? By the way, Brandin Cooks is not a number 1 receiver. He's not Antonio Brown. He's not Julio Jones. He's not Odell Beckham Jr. You know what he is? Is he like a glorified Deshaun Jackson kind of guy, right? He's a speed guy on the outside, and that's really what he is. Is he kind of a one-trick pony? That's why if you look at his catch totals, last year 65 catches. Now, he'll get you 16 yards per catch. That's because he's a one-trick pony that can get down the sideline, throw him the football, and he's off. If the Patriots don't see enough value in you, that's telling you something. But the Rams had to gobble him up, pay him $80 million over 5 years. And by the way, Aaron Donald is still not locked up. Right, Sean, when you look at this deal, I mean, 5 years, $80 million for a one-trick pony?
I agree 100% what you said. I wanted to add this to it, though. He played with Drew Brees and Tom Brady his first 4 years in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And, pedestrian number. Great. No, all right, he had 1,000 yards 3 years in a row receiving. All right, I get it. But he was on my fantasy team, so I followed him closely this year. Disappointing. Brady would try to hit him all the time, and he would only go deep with him. He's not a possession receiver. He's not going to catch those slants and what have you. But think about this. He's playing with Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Do you expect that production to be better?
No, because he's the number 2 option. I mean, I think if you look at that team right now, I think Cooper Kupp gets more looks. I don't think they have a number 1 there in LA. They don't. It's not a great wide receiving core.
Kupp, maybe. Can he develop into a number 1?
Maybe. I by the way, I like Cooper Kupp more than Brandin Cooks. I think he gives you more options than Brandin Cooks. Cooks is a small dude. He's a speed guy. That's all he is.
That's what he's going to do.
So what he's going to exactly right. That's all he's going to do. But look, they throw the ball there in L.A., right? I think you'll have opportunities, but I don't.
It's Todd Gurley's team.
Here's the thing. He averaged 4 catches a game last year at the Patriots, right? You know what? He's going to average 4 catches a game with the Rams.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to do. He'll have 60 to 75 catches.
He's better than Sammy Watkins.
Better than Watkins. There. And you know what? He at least can stay on the field unlike Watkins.
Yeah, well, that's right. And he can catch unlike Watkins.
Yeah. And I think he's I think he's tougher, too.
Correct.
To me, Sammy Watkins' biggest issue is I just don't think he's a tough guy out there. I don't. Now, here's the problem,
and he can't play hurt.
No, he can't. Right. I mean, he hurts his pinky. He's out. He's out a couple of weeks. Here's the problem I have with the Rams. They must be incredibly confident that they're going to lock up Aaron Donald, right, before training camp. Training camp is what? A couple weeks away? 3 weeks away max? 1 week away? All right, they better lock him up. Aaron Donald is the best player on that team. No offense to Todd Gurley. Aaron Donald is the best player on that team. Gurley's a heck of a player, too. July 22nd?
6th.
26th? 9 days away, okay? A little under a week and a half is when training camp begins. Aaron Donald is potentially the best defensive player in the NFL today. You can make that argument. Okay? You can. You can throw out Von Miller in there, I guess. A healthy Luke Kuechly, maybe. But I think Aaron Donald is probably the best defensive player in the NFL today. How is this guy not locked up yet? You're spending $16 million a year on Brandin Cooks. Show the love, show the money to Aaron Donald. I mean, he's much more important to your team than Brandin Cooks. I just think there's an order here of stuff, right? You don't have to give Brandin Cooks any money now. Brandin Cooks is in that the option year of his rookie deal. Aaron Donald is a Hall of Fame caliber player who, through the first 4 years of his career, I believe, he's been a first-team All-Pro 3 times and like a second-team All-Pro once. He's been an All-Pro every single year of his career. He's off one of the great starts in NFL history to a career. All right? He's off to a J.J. Watt-esque start. They play a different position, but that's how dominant a force he's been in the middle. Yet for some reason, the Rams just don't feel the need to lock him up now. They feel the need that they have to lock up Brandin Cooks before he's even played a game for them? Really? Like, where's your priorities? You know, Brandin Cooks can be replaced. Brandin Cooks, I'm not going to say he's a dime a dozen, but he's kind of the NFL equivalent to that, okay? He's productive, but he's not great. He's good. Aaron Donald is not replaceable, and he's great. He's not just good, he is great. Because here's the thing about Aaron Donald. How many big defensive tackles do you have that are great against the run, right? They're the big guy in the middle. Aaron Donald's not the biggest guy, but guess what? You're not running on him, and guess what? He gets to the quarterback. 39 sacks in 4 years as a down lineman. That's ridiculous. Lock this guy up. What are you wasting your time? I'm telling you, they must be very confident. I know the reports are out there that he's apparently letting people know that, hey, he's not going to show up until he has a new contract. He did that last year, too. Was an all-pro, 11 sacks, didn't miss a beat. But from all indications, he feels that they're coming close, I guess, where something's going to get done in the next 9 days, and obviously it's going to carry a huge amount of guaranteed dollars. Now, maybe the Rams did this because they have to free up cap room, and, when you have these long-term contracts, you can manipulate how the money is spread out. So maybe they freed up a couple more dollars. I think Cooks was scheduled to make like $6.8 million or something, $6.2 million, whatever it is this year. But Aaron Donald's scheduled to make like $6.8 million. You want to talk about underpaid players in the NFL? Aaron Donald is a poster child. Get it done. Don't worry about Brandin Cooks. I mean, fans are looking at that probably like, oh, that's great, but how about the big guy in the middle? How about the guy that disrupts opposing offenses? How about the guy that when teams are preparing for us, they look at our defense and they go, holy smokes. Mr. Guard, do you need some help with Aaron Donald? Should we keep, the center? Should we just double him every play? The answer is hell yeah, you double him every play. That's what it is.
Looking at the Rams, though, is there a better team in the NFL going into the season here?
No, that defense is stacked.
They are really good.
Look what they brought in. Marcus Peters, and they've revamped their secondary. Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib, right? They have the best defensive coordinators in the NFL probably in Wade Phillips.
I agree.
I mean, Wade Phillips is a Hall of Fame coach, and I don't mean as a head coach. I mean as a coordinator. He's as great a defensive coordinator as we've seen. Aqib Talib wanted to go to the Rams from the Broncos. Why? Because he wanted to follow Wade Phillips, who was with the Broncos. They bring in Ndamukong Suh to go next to Aaron Donald. They still have
perfect complement to one another.
Yeah. Who do they have the ends right now?
Rockers.
Right, they traded Quinn, right? They traded Robert Quinn. Yeah, Rockers.
They run a 3-4.
Yeah. He was a high first-round pick out of LSU, I believe.
Yeah, first-round pick. Yeah.
They got talent there. They got talent.
Don't worry. Wade Phillips creates players.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I've followed his career for 20 years. Bryce Paup won Defensive Player of the Year
That's right.
with the Buffalo Bills after coming over from the Green Bay Packers. And he was a good player with the Packers, but he was unstoppable with Wade Phillips in Buffalo for years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 18 sacks that year or something. 19 sacks or something.
Jay Ratliff's the guy who comes to mind for the Dallas Cowboys.
Out of Auburn, became a Pro Bowl
7th-round pick.
Tackle,
just a stud Pro Bowl player with Wade Phillips.
How scary is that interior? How about that interior? Anyway. But think about that interior. Donald and Suh? Is anybody running the ball up the middle on there?
Do you believe in Jared Goff?
Enough for them to win games.
I don't. In a big game?
Well, that's the big thing. He's got to prove himself in a big game. Right now, do I believe in him to win a big game? No.
I don't.
Here's the other question, though.
Look, I know he grew from year one to year two, but he has a lot to prove.
All right, but how about this?
As most third-year quarterbacks do. So.
How about this, though? Jared Goff and Carson Wentz will always be compared to each other, right? They were the first and second picks of that draft. Carson Wentz is ahead of Jared Goff right now in terms of where they are. But what big game has Carson Wentz won?
What big game has he been in?
That's the point. So I think it's a fair question for both those guys as they continue to be assessed against each other.
Here's a question for you then.
Okay.
Which quarterback has more pressure this year, Jared Goff or Carson Wentz?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, let's put that on Twitter. Let's put that out there on Twitter. At Going Deep NBC again. At Going Deep NBC. The question is, which quarterback goes into this season with more pressure? Carson Wentz of the Eagles or Jared Goff with the LA Rams? That's a heck of a question. You know what? Let me think about it. I'll get back to it. That takes, I don't want to just throw out a name right now because it takes a lot of thought in terms of answering that question properly. Because both do have a lot of pressure. The question is ultimately who has more pressure on him. I'll tell you who I think next. Going Deep, Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app. AutoZone's been awarding players who are in the zone in their respective sports all season long. The time has come for you, the fans, to vote on the AutoZone In the Zone Athlete of the Year. The athlete who is truly in the zone all season long. Head to NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone today and vote for who should be the AutoZone In the Zone Athlete of the Year. The nominees are Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, Mike Trout, and Alex Ovechkin. To vote, all you have to do is head to NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone. Again, that's NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone. After you vote, stop into your local AutoZone for the parts, products, and helpful advice you need to get the job done right. Let's get you what you need. Get in the zone, AutoZone. All right, producer Sean Guastamacchi asked a very interesting question before we hit the break there. We've now put it on our Twitter, at Going Deep NBC. Make sure to follow us, and we will tally this up as the evening goes on. At Going Deep NBC. The poll is Jared Goff and Carson Wentz went 1 and 2 in the 2016 NFL Draft. Which QB is under more pressure this season? Jared Goff or Carson Wentz? All right. It's a very interesting question. I've thought about it long and hard. The answer for me is Carson Wentz is under more pressure, and here's why. Carson Wentz's team went and won a Super Bowl, but he wasn't the quarterback throughout the postseason and the Super Bowl. Nick Foles was, and in fact, Nick Foles was a Super Bowl MVP. The other side of it is this. People look at Carson Wentz as well as I do and think he's farther ahead right now in his development than Jared Goff. The expectations seem to be put on or placed a bit higher for Carson Wentz in terms of stardom than Jared Goff. Look at that top 100 list on NFL Network, right? Carson Wentz is like top 5, top 10 right now. That's the respect he's getting from players. Jared Goff isn't thought about as highly as Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz also plays in a much more pressure-packed market in Philly that now has this pumped-out chest of we've now won a Super Bowl, we want more now. Let's catch up to the Cowboys and the Giants and the Redskins in the division in terms of number of Super Bowls that we've won. I think Carson Wentz has something to prove because guess what? Who's his backup quarterback? Nick Foles. So if Carson Wentz starts playing poorly, you think fans in Philly aren't going to start looking and saying, hey, guess what? Why doesn't Nick Foles play? He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He wrote a damn book, and the thing's a bestseller in Philly right now. No joke, by the way, Sean. He wrote a book. Nick Foles did, and it's a bestseller. Okay? Guess who's not buying that book? Giant fans, Cowboy fans, and Redskins fans. Eagle fans have made that damn book a bestseller. There's a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz. There is a lot on Jared Goff. I'm going Carson Wentz with more pressure.
I'm going to take Jared Goff. And here's why. That team, the LA Rams, they're loaded to win this season. The only way they don't win is two things. I guess if Todd Gurley, assuming everyone's healthy. Okay?
Right.
I was going to say if Todd Gurley gets hurt, but if Jared Goff doesn't perform up to his capabilities or up to what they think he can do.
Here's the other thing, though.
Whereas Carson Wentz, I think he'll get a year, because he's coming back from an injury, I think he'll get a year to I guess, work out the kinks.
Here's the other thing, though. Which offense is more predicated on the quarterback? I'd go the Eagles. Because the Rams have a better running game.
True.
So I think the pressure's a bit less on Jared Goff because they're going to run the offense more through Todd Gurley. It's all on Carson Wentz. You know, the Eagles have kind of had an interchangeable running attack.
But Carson Wentz played so well before he got injured last year that I think most fans will give him a mulligan. Even the Philly fans. If he doesn't play well this year.
But for how long? The problem is he's got a Super Bowl winning quarterback behind him who's fantastic. That's the problem. Who's Jared Goff's backup with the Rams? Who is his backup with the Rams?
Sean Mannion.
Exactly.
Oregon State.
Oregon State kid. 6th-round pick, I think. Sean Mannion's not a threat to Jared Goff, right? Nick Foles is a legit threat to Carson Wentz. Legit. If Carson Wentz shows that he's not back, right?
You're
and
not
he's
pulling
struggling,
Carson Wentz, Dan.
You would hope not.
They're not.
You
won't start
hope
the season.
not.
I'll guarantee you that, too.
No, he's not. Who, Carson Wentz?
Correct.
He won't start the season?
No.
Because he's not going to be healthy, you don't think? Or
Well,
what do you mean?
because they're going to make sure he's 100% healthy before putting him out.
Well, by the way.
And they have Nick Foles.
By the way, Carson Wentz looked pretty damn healthy picking up his now wife at their wedding last week. Did you see that? And all the comments on my friends from Philly when I worked there for 4.5 years, it's like, that knee better be good before he starts picking her up like that. And he looks good. I'm telling you right now, that knee looks good. He's picking up his wife.
He'll start day one? Carson Wentz, that is.
Probably not. He shouldn't. You know what? He got hurt, in December? Right? December or January, right? He got hurt.
Around there, December.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, maybe he is going to be. Nah, he shouldn't be back. He shouldn't be healthy. He should have played week 1.
But on one hand, right, you don't want Nick Foles starting and then, well,
looking good.
If he's 4-0, you're going to really bring in Carson Wentz?
And if you're Carson Wentz, you might be like trying to rush back a bit quicker because you don't want that scenario.
On the other hand, you don't want to start Carson Wentz if not 100% because he's your future player.
By the way, this isn't Garoppolo with Tom Brady. That's an interesting question. What do you do? Guess what? I'm glad I'm not Doug Peterson. Wow. Yeah, I want to get that's a great scenario. That is. We got to get more into the NFL talk. That's a great one. That's next. Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio.
Dan Schwartzman is going deep every night. In-depth sports coverage. And then some. We are NBC Sports Radio. And this is Going Deep with Dan Schwartzman.
Hour number 2, the polls are up. 2 polls, by the way, today here on the show on Twitter, Going Deep NBC. If you're not following us, why not? Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Going Deep NBC. First poll, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. They went 1-2 in the 2016 NFL Draft. Which QB is under more pressure this season? And the second poll is, do you like players doing interviews while the All-Star game is in progress? All right, let's start off with the Goff and Wentz question. So far, voting has just opened up. 55% say Carson Wentz is under more pressure, 45% for Jared Goff. In terms of the baseball interviews, 89% of you say that you do like the players doing the interviews during the All-Star game. No one so far that has voted doesn't like it, and 11% of you say player selfies is worse. I like both. I do. I think it's nice to have baseball kind of showing this a little bit, letting us in with the players in the course of the game, something you rarely see, obviously. So that's kind of good. I do like it. All right. We brought up an interesting scenario, okay? If Carson Wentz isn't ready to start the season as the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Nick Foles is the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles, what happens if Nick Foles kind of picks up where he left off in the postseason last year with that great Super Bowl run, and he starts playing great? Meanwhile, there's a good chance he could. The first 3 weeks of the season, they're home for the Atlanta Falcons, okay? That's a tough one. That's a Thursday night start, okay? But then they're at the Tampa Bay Rays. Jameis is out for that game. And then they're home for the Indianapolis Colts. What if Nick Foles beats Atlanta? They should win the other two. What if he's 3-0 heading into week 4, and at that point Carson Wentz is healthy and ready to come back? What if Nick Foles is 3-0 and he's thrown 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, he's averaging 300 yards a game? By the way, he could do that. It's kind of his postseason, right? What do you do? Do you just say, all right, Carson's back. It's his job. He gets in. Hey, Nick, great job. Let me spank you on the rear end and go have a seat on the bench. I mean, Doug Peterson has to win games. That's the object of being a coach, is to win games. Of course, he's got himself some built-in cred because he won a Super Bowl. But that's Nick Foles' Super Bowl. And people may look at it and say, well, did Jeff Hostetler get the start over Phil Simms when he won the Super Bowl for the New York Giants? Phil Simms had a longer career predating that Super Bowl and that injury than Carson Wentz has had. Right? Carson Wentz hasn't played 2 full seasons yet because he got hurt.
And Doug Peterson said as of yesterday that he hasn't decided who's going to start week 1 for the Eagles.
But I think that's based on injury.
Correct.
Yeah.
ACL recovery for Carson Wentz.
If Carson Wentz was healthy, I don't think he says that.
Don't you think they owe it, and I'm talking about Peterson and the Eagles organization, to start Nick Foles week 1? When the banner is raised?
But here's the... Yeah, but then But the problem is they're playing into the messiness there. That could be messy. It really can. Because think about this. You said it. If you start the season with Nick Foles,
it's the first Super Bowl in the history
of that organization, and he continues to play well.
And he played well in the Super Bowl.
MVP. He played great in that whole playoff run, right? How do you bench him? Does Carson Wentz deserve to just have that job? He's not Tom Brady. He's not Phil Simms. Does Carson Wentz just automatically deserve the job because he was a number 2 pick that was playing at an MVP level last year? There's no guarantee that if he had stayed a quarterback, they win a Super Bowl. So I don't want to just relegate to the sideline Nick Foles if he's playing well, and neither should Doug Peterson. That's a messy situation. If Carson Wentz is able to play week 1, you got to play him to avoid that. That's the problem. Oh, it's going to be juicy, isn't it?
The other thing, and this is the reason, and this is why the Eagles should have traded Nick Foles.
Yeah,
and we don't know the medicals. Obviously, we don't know if Carson Wentz still needs some time to recover from the torn ACL. Right? We don't know.
We don't know.
We never will know that.
Right.
But if he is healthy enough, Carson Wentz, that is, to play week 1, and they just trying to, I guess, protect Wentz in a way that which could backfire, which you elaborated on. Wow. That's going to be interesting.
I wouldn't want to be Doug Peterson having to make that decision. But I wonder what the fans would want. See, I'm trying to figure out in my head the Eagle fan base and what they would want. They do love Nick Foles. They do, but they also love Carson Wentz. They do. One thing about Wentz, I'll give him credit. He has ingrained himself in the area. So he gets married, right? And this is a young lady that he's met, I guess, in college or whatever. She's not from the Philly area, I don't believe. Yet they got married in Bucks County, which is right outside Philadelphia. They didn't get married in North Dakota. They didn't get married somewhere like that. They got married right outside of Philly. Heck, I have a house in Bucks County where my ex lives. That's how close it is to Philly. So he's ingrained himself into the area. They love him there. I mean, he's a guy. They have 2 quarterbacks that can do no wrong right now, him and Foles. But if a fan has to choose between the 2,
he's the better player.
Wentz wins, yeah.
He's the better player.
He's the better player. But
I don't care what Nick Foles did last year.
Yeah, but they do. You may not care because you're not a fan of the team.
Foles has a track record.
Of what?
Not much success. All right, he threw 27
and 2. He was a failure, right? He was a failure in Kansas City.
Correct.
He kind of came back to the Eagles with, was it the Rams a year, right? Went to the Rams. Was a backup there.
That was Jeff Fisher's fault.
Right, he screws everybody up. Case Keenum. He had Jared Goff, Case Keenum, and Nick Foles. All 3 of them did. All 3 of them were like, Nick Foles went to the damn Super Bowl. Goff's a Pro Bowler, and so's Case Keenum.
We needed more time.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll fall flat soon.
I can't wait till Jeff Fisher calls games this year. He's calling some games, I think. Like, what legitimacy will Jeff Fisher bring to the broadcast?
He played the game.
Oh, that's great.
He was a safety for the Bears.
Yeah. Played at USC, right? It does. All right. How many people respect Jeff Fisher out there right now? I want him to coach. You know why? I want him to coach one more time. You know why? He's so close to having the most wins, most losses all time of an NFL head coach.
It's not nice.
I know, but I don't like the guy. I didn't like him on Hard Knocks, by the way. I didn't. He's just like too cool for school, Hey, man, sorry. It's like Southern Cal thing he's got going on there. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of Jeff Fisher. That guy got nothing out of talent. It's amazing, really. How he stayed in, how he lasted for so long in Tennessee. Because he had one Super Bowl run. My goodness. Nothing against Vince Young was just awful himself. But to a point, he never wanted him. It's like he sabotaged him to a point, right? He didn't want him. That was Bud Adams wanting to get this Texas guy. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's going to be fun in Philly. It's going to be a lot of fun. But if you're Carson Wentz, you hope you're ready week 1 just because, well, let's face it, you don't want that issue occurring, that Nick Foles gets off to a hot start and you're sitting on the bench and Doug Peterson's got to make a decision to not play you. And he could always say this, hey, you're young, you're going to get your shot again. That's what he could say.
That's the decision you make. If you're Doug Peterson, this guy won me a Super Bowl, Nick Foles, we're 3-0, you ride it until Nick Foles starts playing poorly. Yeah. And then Nick Foles leaves.
Yeah.
And then it's Carson Wentz's team next year.
See, but you're right. This is why they probably should have traded him.
But didn't they just re-sign him to a contract extension?
They did. Because I think Foles said, if I'm not going to play for the Eagles, I'm going to retire. He kind of gave that type of ultimatum to a point.
No, he didn't.
No, he did. He's like, he just wanted to play for the Eagles.
He knows that it's Carson Wentz's team.
Yeah, I think he's fine being a highly paid backup. I think he's actually kind of fine with that. Look, it's not the worst. I mean, if I could be anybody in the NFL, I'd be Charlie Whitehurst. I mean, Charlie Whitehurst lived in San Diego for 10 years.
Are you jealous of his long hair?
Oh, that great tan and that long hair. The guy had it all, man. Clean uniform. After the game, he doesn't even have to shower. Probably goes straight to the ocean. Probably surfs around, right? Probably goes to the nice bars right on the water there. Hits on beautiful California blondes, right? What do you do? I play quarterback for the Chargers. Oh, my God, you do? Yeah. All right. And you like my hair? It's great, right? Remember, he goes to Seattle. They think he's a starter, and like his career becomes serious, and he flunks that. Goes back to San Diego as the backup. Guy has like a 12-year career of doing nothing. It's awesome.
Here's the question for you then.
Yeah.
What college did Charlie Whitehurst go to?
Clemson. Am I right? I am, right?
Yeah, I think
he went to Clemson. What a job. Backup quarterbacks have it good. They really do. Once in a while, they're exposed, right? As long as you look good in practice, you're good. Yeah. Was he like a third-round pick out of Clemson or something like that?
Yes.
He was a third-round pick? Charlie Whitehurst. Is he still in the league? Charlie Whitehurst.
Yes.
Wow. Good for him. My favorite player, Charlie Whitehurst.
So here's the deal for Foles.
Yeah.
There's a mutual option for 2019 with the team and with Foles, Nick. Foles.
Okay. All right.
So I guess
he's okay being the backup.
This is last year in Philly.
For who, though? Who's not going to pick up the option?
For Foles.
You don't think Foles will pick up the option?
No. I think he will pick up the option, and I think the Eagles will trade him.
Potentially, or they like having
him. He knows
him.
Wentz is the guy there.
Yeah,
he wants to start.
Does he?
Of course he does, yes.
Did he pull for a trade this offseason?
No, because, like you said, the Eagles...
They were asking for a lot. Yeah.
Were asking for a lot, yeah. But they turned down, from the Browns, right? Did they turn down?
A second-round pick or something? Yeah. Or they wanted a first-round pick or something ridiculous. They wanted 2 first-round picks. Something like that for Nick Foles. Yeah, it's a straight... You know what? I understand where the Eagles are coming from. They have the best backup in the NFL probably right now, Nick Foles. Right, how many backup quarterbacks are sitting there with a Super Bowl MVP? Him. So they're looking at it saying, all right, we don't know exactly when Carson Wentz is going to be 100%, but we can wait because of the fact we have Nick Foles. It makes sense for them, but should they have maximized the value of Nick Foles when they had it?
If you're Howie Roseman, do you say, hey, listen, Doug, play the best quarterback?
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, you say, listen, Doug, that's your decision. You play who you think needs to play. You
now,
can't
if
put the
Nick
pressure.
Foles plays and has success, and that's, and they fall short of the Super Bowl championship, because if Foles plays and wins another Super Bowl, Carson Wentz is done in Philly.
No, but here's the thing.
Don't you have to sign Nick Foles long term?
How old is Nick Foles? 31?
He's 30.
30?
If he's 30.
All right, this is year number 3 for Carson Wentz, okay? So he has this year and next year under his rookie contract. They're going to pick up the 5th-year option, right? So they have him locked up for another 3 years. And the money's not crazy this year and next year because it's the rookie contract. Now, once that 5th-year option becomes in play, that's probably $20 million or something, okay? But at least for this year and next year, the money's not crazy. So if he's going to sit on the bench this year and next year, they can afford to keep him on the bench financially. He's a good paid backup quarterback at that point. But they're not going to trade him because he's still the future. He's, 7 years younger than Nick Foles?
So then you trade Foles?
Yeah. Even if, you know what, look. If
I would.
Yeah, I think so.
2 Super Bowl championships? Fine.
You did your duty. You're going to never pay for a meal here ever. The freaking retires number probably in Philly.
So if you're a betting man, right?
Yeah.
Right now, with the information you have right now, who starts week 1 for the Eagles? Wentz or Foles?
Nick Foles, because of injuries.
I agree.
Look, I mean, if that injury, look, people talk about ACLs and all that, right? What's the usual time frame? Adrian Peterson took, 8-9 months, and people are like, oh my God, he's a Superman, right? Nick Foles isn't going to be Adrian Peterson. That's not the average length of time. So you have to believe it's going to be, you know what? He might not be back till, he got hurt end of December? That time frame, right about end of December? Okay, so he's probably back October. Maybe week 3. Last week of September, maybe. You can't expect him to be ready. He's not going to play in training camp. Man, Nick Foles is going to have an opportunity here. Wow. Interesting in Philly. A lot of fun in Philly. Carson Wentz played 13 games. All right, so he went out week 14. Or he went out during week 13. I guess it's week 14 because they had the bye before that, okay? So 3 weeks from the end of the year. So he got hurt early to mid-December. 10 months puts him at what? September? Mid-September? All right, December 13th, he had his surgery. 10 months will be September 13th. No, you know what? He's probably not playing till week 3 or 4. Because, I mean, the expectation he's healed in 10 months, come on, that's pretty optimistic. Because he tore like a lot of things in that knee. That was a big injury. Interesting stuff there. All right, I'll give you an update on this. You know, it's funny. We're watching this All-Star game. There's something that amazes everybody here watching this game when it comes to pitching today in baseball. Got to quickly hit that up. Plus, the polls, what's happening? A lot of votes coming in on both our polls. We'll update them next. Going deep, Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
We were gone for what seems like minutes, but thankfully, we're back.
At AutoZone, the free Loan-A-Tool program offers specialty tools to help you get the job done right, because doing more is what AutoZone does best. Get in the zone. AutoZone. All right, the All-Star game is 2 outs away from ending. The American League leading the National League 5-3. Here's a little something that I've picked up watching this game. Everybody in baseball today throws ridiculously hard. I mean, it used to be somebody that hit triple digits was impressive. Like, oh my goodness. You think about it, Aroldis Chapman came on the scene about 11 years ago. When he was like 19, played in that, was it the World Baseball Classic? The lefty was 19 years old, gunning at 102 miles an hour, right? And we're like, oh my goodness. Like, we were impressed by that. Like, look at this guy throwing 100 miles an hour. Well, let's fast forward now 11 years later. Honestly, it's not as impressive anymore. It's not. You got this kid, Jordan Hicks in St. Louis, makes the jump from single A to the majors. He's throwing 103, 104 miles an hour. Baseball America puts out a list every year of guys who have hit triple digits in the minors. You think the list is like 4 or 5 guys? It's like 40 guys. It's a big list, and half the guys you never heard about. It's not the Michael Koppiches of the world, you know, the big prospects like that, although he has no idea where the pitch is going, by the way, but still walks a ton of guys.
Doing better.
But he still walks a ton of guys.
Doing much better this year, though.
Yeah. He's also dating somebody, like, relatively famous.
I think they broke up.
Oh, that's right. She's moved on. No, he's moved on with somebody else, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was dating
some actress, right?
Reality show star.
Yeah, some, like, B-level celeb, right?
Oh, come on, Nick. Nick, do you know your reality shows?
Nick, come on. You think Nick knows this?
It's that Southern Family?
It's not the Grizzlies, right?
Yes. Them.
Oh, he was dating that Savannah Grizzly?
Yes.
Whatever? She dates athletes. She was dating Chandler Parsons, too. You sure it's Grizzly? I don't think it was a Grizzlies. No, because she was dating that Luke Kennard, too. Yeah. Yeah, you're terrible with your reality stars. I got to tell you, Sean. To you, all the reality stars are the same, right? They like morph into the same person.
He was dating Corey Bierman's...
Oh, that's right, Corey Bierman's
daughter-in-law.
Stepdaughter, right, because he married the older woman from the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Correct.
Yes, that's right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But he moved on with somebody else, somebody like semi-famous too, I think. Not that Corey Bierman's stepdaughter is famous, but still, I had seen a Page 6 article where he was mentioned. Because I like reading all that trash, you know, like the TMZ and the Page 6 stuff. It's fun. I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of fun to read that nonsense. You learn about Michael Kopech and who he's dating. Most of you like, who the hell's Michael Kopech? The former Red Sox farmhand that got shipped over along with Yoan Moncada to the White Sox in the deal that brought Chris Sale to Boston. And Kopech is in AAA. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks as well. You figured it out?
I think he's dating Vanessa Morgan.
Yeah, whoever that is. I don't know. It's famous, though, right? It's like a B-list or C-list celebrity, I think. It's not going to be somebody you recognize.
Riverdale Star? What's Riverdale?
Oh, that show. It's a TV show. Like the what is it? The Y9 or what's that channel? You know, it's like the same channel that had like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and things like that. Yeah, that channel. Yeah, it's like the CW. That's right. CW. Yeah, that's what it is. CW. So. She's in that show, Riverdale. It's about like snooty kids, I guess, at like a prep school, which is hilarious because I went to a prep school called Riverdale. So I don't know if it's based off of my high school. They easily could base it off of my high school, just to say, but yeah, that's what it is. So he's moved on with his C-level celebrity from a TV show that no one watches called Riverdale. Yes. Good job on Michael Kopech. But he doesn't know where the ball's going. But still, it's 100 miles an hour. And everybody's throwing 100 miles an hour in this game. These relievers come in the game, and what's happening? Boom, 100 miles an hour. You forget that all these guys can hit triple digits these times, but they can't. As ridiculous as that sounds. Unbelievable. We are going to head down to Nationals Park. The game has officially ended. Our baseball insider Seth Everett's been drenched in sweat, most likely, sitting there watching this. We're going to talk with Seth next. Going deep, Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
Dan Schwartzman is going deep right now.
Play the Schwartz team with you
on NBC Sports Radio.
35 past the hour. It is Going Deep. Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio. So we hear that Amazon is upping its Prime membership fee from $99 to $119 for free shipping. That's a 20% hike. Crazy, right? I mean, really, that's not cheap, especially when Walmart offers free 2-day shipping with no membership fee. It's obviously a way better deal. I mean, come on, a better deal than an extra $119 in your pocket. Think about what you could do with an extra $119. Well, let me think about it. $119. You could take a family of 4 to a minor league baseball game and have a great time, right? Minor league baseball is fantastic. For another $119, I don't know. Sean, what would you do for $119? You could go on big dates, buy something nice for your parents. Right? There's a lot of good things you do with $119.
What kind of date are you going on for $119?
Well, when you date somebody for 2.5 years, dates get cheaper, by the way. So for $119, you could have a heck of a date. No question about it. Now, here's the deal for everybody listening. What would you rather do with $119? While you're thinking about it, go to WalmartFreeShipping.com for the chance to instantly win a $119 Walmart gift card and be registered for the $1,119 grand prize drawing. That's WalmartFreeShipping.com for complete rules and details. 2 business day shipping, minimum $35 order. Restrictions apply. All right, let's head out to Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. The game has taken some twists and turns with 1 out in the 9th inning. A 2-run home run have now tied it up. Looks like we'll have an extra inning game. Is it going to end in a tie like Bud Selig's nightmare back in the day? Our baseball insider, Seth Everett, joining us. And, Seth, how many pitches are actually left on both teams at this point? Or are we playing for a tie? What's going on?
Well, we have some pitchers left. It's not going to be a problem. But, it's just funny because, it's always teammates. Segura was the offensive hero, gave the American League the lead, and Edwin Diaz, who has been money for the Seattle Mariners this year, winds up blowing it. So that's baseball season.
It is. Now, Seth, how are you drenched in sweat? Mike Trout was telling us during this broadcast that it was more humid there than it was when it was 114 back in L.A. last week.
It's hot. It's really hot. It's really hot. I've drenched through everything. I got rained on a little bit because, I was doing some radio and I was trying to go someplace quiet early in the afternoon when the monsoon had come. So I was wet from that. It's a mess out here. But you know what? The crowd is kind of filed out. Don't forget, they said that the Metro was running late. But if you remember when the Stanley Cup finals were going on and the Capitals were in it, they didn't extend the Metro time, and a lot of people were stranded. When they were celebrating, they were stranded because they couldn't get to their destination via the subway system.
So we're to believe now that Washington has gotten its act together and the Metros will run late for the fans. Is it a packed house there?
It was at the start. It's not now. Again, I went downstairs so I could talk to you guys, but it was a packed house. Look, the host city always benefits from this. The host city is always the city that takes what the All-Star Game brings, and they build season ticket sales out of it for 3 years running. They always know years in advance when they have the game. It helps local tourism. There's so many benefits for the host city. So Washington's not the indicator. What I'll be interested to see in tomorrow or the next day is when the ratings come out, whether or not people actually held their attention for this game.
That's a good question. Absolutely. Have the ratings come out for the Home Run Derby yet? I think that's the big thing. All right, so we'll get to that a bit later on in the show because me and producer Sean Guastamacchi have a little bet when it comes to the ratings for the Home Run Derby. But, Seth, what's the atmosphere like in the sense of this, all right? You have the whole Manny Machado situation. The reports coming out throughout the day that a deal is done. We think it's the Dodgers. Yeah. That's being reported. Has that to a point overshadowed, dealing with the players before the game, also other media members? Has it overshadowed this contest?
Not really, no. As a matter of fact, it's funny. Manny Machado is probably going to play his last moments as an Oriole in an All-Star game, which is very weird and kind of awkward. But, the rumors have changed. Don't forget, going into the weekend, there was talk about Boston, there was talk about New York, which neither of those made any sense. And then all of a sudden, then the Phillies emerged. That was kind of the theme on Monday. If a deal gets done, it's not going to be announced until Wednesday, but there's a really good chance that he hasn't played anything. I don't think that was an overriding theme in any way. I hate to say it. This is not what this is not something I'm enjoying talking about all the time. But in the media availability with the players, I wasn't initiating any conversation about strikeouts and home runs, and the conversation was in every conversation. Nolan Arenado told me he sings songs to himself to stay alert during defense when there's 9 pitches at bats, and it's all this 3 minutes and 49 seconds in between balls hit and play. How many times can you check Twitter in between 3 minutes and 49 seconds? I mean,
and you could actually sing. You could sing a full song. You can sing a full song, and let's use Prince for instance. Right, "I Would Die for You" is shorter than that.
Yeah, sure. Not the 12-minute extended version, but
yeah, no, the radio release version. Yeah.
I'm just teasing. But the crazy thing was today was the Baseball Writers Association of America luncheon, and in that luncheon, Rob Manfred praised baseball for shortening its games by 5 minutes.
Are you serious? Really? Are you serious? He's praising that?
That's the problem.
Oh my goodness, that's unbelievable.
I was surprised when I saw that. And I'll be honest with you. I think he knows. I think he's very aware. I just don't think he's coming clean.
Baseball insider Seth Everett joining us live from Nationals Park right now. What is it over? Oh no, the top. Did it go out? All right, so it's now 6-5 American League. I see the Astros. Sometimes I think National League still. But Alex Bregman, my favorite player, has hit a home run. AL's up 6-5. Hey, Seth, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You might get home early enough with this game. Who knows what happens to the bottom half of the 10th? But as of now, cross the fingers, you might be out of there soon. Hey, let me ask you this, because you mentioned the Baseball, Writers of America luncheon and Rob Manfred's comments. The DH came up again, of course, and Tony Clark's been talking, and they're not getting along, and there's going to be a lockout or strike in a couple of years. But have the players been addressing the DH situation, Seth, in terms of the National League? Because that's become more and more prevalent.
Well, I've talked to the union about that. I talked to one person yesterday, and I think there's a better probability of a radical realignment that would eliminate the pitcher hitting. It would eliminate the existence of the American and National League. And I think there would be an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference. And I think that's what the All-Star game would be, East versus West. There's been preliminary sketches of what the divisions would be like for people in the East. I'll just use an example. It would be the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Nationals, all in the same division. If you did that, then you'd have to be one universal rule. But to eliminate the American and National League, to me, that's the way you do it.
Wow, that would be radical.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Talk that it would happen if baseball expanded, because then they would go to 16 teams, and I think people in baseball have acknowledged that interleague has kind of run its course, but in this circumstance, you wouldn't have interleague anymore. You wouldn't have leagues, and I think that the whole change, the way baseball would change. I mean, look, this is an ever-evolving sport, and to me, the priority number one is right now in the season, you have more strikeouts than hits. To me, that's priority number one. You have to fix that. You outlaw the shift. I think that would eliminate a lot of the problems, but that would just be step one. Let's see how they fix that. But if they want to talk about radical realignment, I think that's the best way to get a universal DH.
But here's the thing. Do they have to get so radical with change, with realignment and getting rid of a National League and an American League, which has been there for 100+ years? Why not just institute a DH in the National League? I mean, pitchers are combining to about 113 this year, which is frankly ridiculous. Who the heck wants to see that? Why get so radical? Why not just simplify and say, all right, There's a DH in the AL and there's a DH in the NL now. Why do they have to go into this, make it like basketball with conferences?
Well, if you want to, be less taxing on the season and you want to be able to have a shorter season, possibly even adding double headers, you would like to eliminate travel. And if you played your conference, think about it from that standpoint. If you played your conference more than you played the other conference, kind of like the NBA schedule,
right?
Then you would have a scenario where you could have 2 divisions in each conference, still 4 divisions, but you'd have them all, and then you could have a 1 through 8 situation, like what the NBA has. I think you'd eliminate a lot of the problems that you have with, Seattle playing Tampa Bay all these times and the wild card. You could eliminate all of that if you had these conferences.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's pretty right. I don't see that happening for a while, though. And that's the thing. I just wonder when that would happen.
Baseball has bigger fish to fry.
No, I agree.
Baseball has to get more balls hit and play. They have to figure out, today they announced something in Tampa. I haven't seen all the details yet, but a new ballpark proposal in Tampa. They need to fix Oakland.
What a joke.
Baseball has bigger priorities than to worry about the DH.
You know what? You brought that up, Seth. $900 million stadium for the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't have the fan base. It's a waste of money. I mean, that area is just not going to support a baseball team. There's a ton of Yankee fans there that sell out Legends Field in spring training. The Tampa Bay Rays could build a nice stadium. Just not gonna, after 2 years, no one's going to go there. It's a waste of money and time.
The problem is the people with the money are snowbirds. They come down there in the wintertime, and the population actually decreases in the summer months. Yeah. So I'm on board with that. I think that it'd be tough. I have been on record as saying, and I know I've said this on your show before, I think the Rays should move to Montreal.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm on record but Stu Sternberg has to figure that out, and I think what he's doing is he's exhausting all possibilities before he gives up on a market.
And think about this. $900 million in Canada right now is about $1.2 billion. You can build a nice stadium in Montreal for $1.2 billion. Makes a lot more sense, Seth, than, we actually agree on this, than building a new stadium in Tampa.
I did a podcast with one of the former PR people for the Expos, and Elias Mako said that the people in Montreal think it's when, not if. So they
I agree.
It's happening.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think people in Montreal are watching more strikeouts than hits. And how many home runs were hit today? I mean,
we are up to, we just had back-to-back with the Astros, Bregman, and Springer. So add that 5, 6, 8 home runs I think have been hit in this game.
I mean, please.
Good news for you, Seth. Good news for you. AL's up 7-5. We're in the 10th. They have runners on and no outs. Seth, you're going home in the next 10 minutes. How about that?
There you go.
All right, Seth. Appreciate it, buddy. Hey, I hope you brought an extra shirt, man.
Who says I'm going home? Who says I'm going home?
You're going out in the town? You hit up Georgetown tonight? What are you doing?
Very, very good to me.
Seth, appreciate it, buddy. Talk soon, man.
You got it, my man.
Always fun. Our buddy Seth Everett down at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. at the All-Star Game. 7-5 AL. 8 home runs have been hit. 5 by the AL, 3 by the NL. Ross Stripling is going to be the losing pitcher here. AL still has 2 batters on with 1 out in the 10th. Unbelievable. There's 5-2 AL, 5-3 AL. Then was it Scooter Gennett that hit the home run for the NL? Scooter Gennett hits one in the bottom of the 9th. 1 out, 1 on to tie it. And then the Astros go back-to-back. First time in the All-Star game since Jeter and Maglio Ordonez in 2001. They go back-to-back, and they happen to be teammates here. Springer and Bergman going first. All right. Wow. I'll tell you what. Interesting. But how about that whole radical realignment, the DH aspect of it, the whole conversation that Rob Manfred had at the Baseball Writers Association luncheon, and also Tony Clark, the Players Association, had answers to. It's a simple process here that they are going to overcomplicate. Should the DH stay or not? The numbers are out to tell us the answer. I'll tell you what it is next. Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
Dan Schwartzman is going deep every night. In-depth sports coverage. And then some. We are NBC Sports Radio. And this is Going Deep with Dan Schwartzman.
It is hour number 3. When you think of baseball and you think of songs about baseball, John Fogerty's hit Center Field, of course, is one of those, right? Well, who doesn't want to see John Fogerty live? Well, guess what? If you want to win a trip to Vegas to see John Fogerty, it's easy. And, of course, you want to win that. You can win a trip to see John Fogerty perform his songs from Creedence Clearwater Revival at Wynn Las Vegas in October. You get round-trip airfare, 2 nights in Vegas, 2 orchestra-level tickets, plus a copy of his CD, Center Field, and an exclusive sound check experience. And, well, wait for it. You're going to meet John Fogerty as well. For details and to enter, make sure to go to winconcerts.com. That's WIN concerts.com, winconcerts.com. Brought to you by AEG Presents and NBC Sports Radio. It's one of the great songs when you think about baseball. Center Field by John Fogerty. All right, it is officially over. The All-Star game has ended. 10 home runs hit in this game. That's a record. 6th time in a row the American League has won. And guess what? It means nothing. And you know what? That's the way it should be. We're not going to sit here going, oh, those damn Red Sox and Yankees can win 110 games, but some NL team's going to get the home field. Thankfully, the NL did not win in that regard. But again, it doesn't matter. Do they announce an MVP yet? Can't wait to hear this one. Because honestly, there's no one deserving. I hate to say it. You're going to pick amongst 10 guys who hit home runs. Because 10 different players hit home runs. So based on that, honestly, Gene Segura had the 3-run bomb, right? He's got the most RBIs in this game. He should win the award. He should. I know Bregman put them ahead for good.
George Springer, 2 for 2, homer.
Oh, he's the only guy with multiple hits? I think so.
No, Segura had 2 hits, too.
Oh, he did. Ooh, this is a head-to-head battle of American League West players. Well, I'll take him out of it. He didn't hit a home run, though, right?
No.
Okay, so he's out. You had to have a home run to be in consideration for MVP of the All-Star game. Segura's got 2 hits.
Correct.
Springer's got 2 hits. I'm going Segura with the win. Gene Segura will take home an... Here we go.
Bregman!
Oh, wow. Bregman wins it. So he gets to pick between 2 cars, right? All right. Oh, that's a nice bat. That's kind of a cool...
I like that bat, yeah.
Right? It's like glass bat. How cool is that? So you win the MVP of the All-Star game, you get a glass bat, and you choose between a sports car and a pickup, right? Is that a pickup or is that a SUV?
I can't see it.
I can't see. What is it? That's actually pretty nice looking. Are those Chevys? Who's sponsoring this? It is Chevy. It's a pickup, right? It's a Chevy pickup. It's probably a Silverado. And then it's a Camaro, I think, is the other one, right? I like the Camaro.
What would you choose?
Oh, I'll take the Camaro in a heartbeat.
Me too.
But he plays in Houston, though. Texas, you want the big pickup truck.
But he's Mr. Cool. As evident by the fact that on Instagram,
yeah,
he took a pic with Justin Verlander, George Springer, and all the other Astro All-Stars on a plane, and he was wearing sunglasses indoors.
Right, and they were dancing around in the private plane. And by the way, he was a dead-on doppelganger of Johnny Manziel, by the way, in that video. Looks just like Manziel. The sunglasses, the hat backwards. Kind of built like him, too.
I think he's more Tom Cruise. Like
no way. Maybe in the dancing, but I think the look. He looked more like Johnny Manziel.
He looked like Tom Cruise.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
Doesn't look like Johnny Manziel. He's not all tatted up.
You don't need the tats. I'm just saying his face and his body structure looks like Johnny Manziel.
He didn't have the dollar bill rolled up.
Well, he wasn't in the bathroom of the plane. By the way, do you think Upton... Well, not Kate. Do you think that Verlander pays for that flight? Because Morton, you think about it, Bregman,
I think
Morton, Springer...
Houston Astros owners pay for it.
That's not bad.
They charter it.
You're probably right.
But Verlander should pay for it.
Right. Because the other guys are not making nearly as much as him. Because Springer isn't making as much as him. Morton certainly is not. Garrett Cole, I guess, is an all-star. And Alex Bregman is... second, third-year player. He's not making a lot yet, though he's a top pick, so he made a lot. Verlander's got to be paying. If somebody's paying for that flight, the charter flight, the private flight, it's got to be Verlander, right?
Bensky, too, I think he's an all-star.
Who?
A reliever.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, that is, you know what? I like that. That's Camaro, right? You got to take the Camaro. Oh, Davinsky, okay. Look at that car, Sean. You taking that, right? Got to take the Camaro. Absolutely.
Describe it. It looks beautiful.
It's like a dark blue.
Shiny blue, would you say?
No, because it's shiny. It's shiny. But it's got sleek lines. So the pickup's just a pickup. But he's from Texas.
What does that matter?
He might like the pickup. Maybe he's got a ranch.
Is he from Texas or he plays in Texas?
No, I believe he's actually from Texas.
He went to LSU. Well,
yeah.
His mom's happy.
She should be. He's got a gold bat.
I think he's keeping the car. He's probably giving it to his brother or his sibling.
Or his mother, maybe. No, he's not going to.
Dad.
He doesn't. I'm
his
sure
uncle.
I'm sure he drives like a Bentley or something. He probably has a very nice car. Wasn't he a top pick in the draft?
Second
overall pick. So he probably got about $5-6 million signing bonus. So I think Bregman already has a nice car. I remember when Cole Hamels won it, and I think he donated it or something to some charitable auction or something like that. I remember when Tom Brady won it. And by the way, those are nicer cars. Didn't Brady? He gave his to Malcolm Butler, right? The Super Bowl MVP one. And that was like a $30,000 car. This, I think, is more expensive, this Camaro. I'm not sure what a Camaro goes for. Weren't you searching for cars before, Sean? You didn't look at Camaros? Oh, you like the Charger. That's what you like. Right, you like the Dodge Charger. It's a nice car. I got to say, that's a nice Chevy Camaro. Congratulations, Alex Bregman wins himself the MVP of the All-Star game. All right. You found it?
$25,000 to start.
That's not the. You can't be giving. You can't be giving the guy a base model. I mean, he's a Major League Baseball player.
Man, I'm giving you the baseline.
All right. What's a fully loaded one go for? What are we looking at? Probably 45, maybe. If 25 is the starting for the base model, I would have to venture to guess. You throw the nav in there, the little computer screen, power seats, heated seats. You got the moonroof, right? Leather. The sport package, probably. The bigger rims. Probably 45. Right about 45. That's not bad. For getting 2 hits in a solo home run, you win that? And a gold bat?
No, just 1 hit. Springer had 2 hits.
Oh, so all Bregman had to do is hit a solo home run at the right time, and he wins that. Good job by him. Mama Bregman's very happy. She's like, oh, yes, son, you got me a car. Thank you.
Oh, here's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Do you think he was more excited about that home run that he won the All-Star game or his hit to win the World Series?
I would hope the World Series hit was more exciting. Although this one's more lucrative, I think. You're going to get your World Series. No, because a winning share is more than a losing share in the World Series. So, yeah, that hit obviously helped and probably made him more money than this. Because he's not going to sell the car for cash, probably, right? Like, that would be weird.
Walk-off single in the 5th game.
Yeah, I don't see him selling this car. Like, you're going to donate it, right? It looks bad if you sell the car. Don't you think?
Yeah, he'll give it to someone.
Right, he'll give it to somebody. You can't sell it, though. I remember when John Franco, like when he retired, the Mets gave him some Harley or something like that, and then it was up for auction last year or 2 years ago. I thought it was kind of a bad look. All right, team gives you a nice like Harley to, when you retire, and then you sell it like 10 years later. Would you sell it?
Yeah, why not?
Don't you think it's a bad look, though?
Would you sell you a Super Bowl ring? Or a World Series ring? No
way. Unless you're really hard up. If you're hard up for cash, you have to.
Right.
But if you're not, but it's embarrassing if you do because everybody knows you're hard up for cash, right? It's really embarrassing. It's sad when you hear like Super Bowl rings go up for sale and things like that. Look, if it's some lowly employee who gets like the employee version of the Super Bowl ring.
Does that bother you?
No, that doesn't bother me.
Really? It doesn't bother you?
No, because those guys need more cash.
Low-level employees get Super Bowl rings?
Oh, that.
Broadcasters?
But here's the thing. Do the broadcasters get the nice rings or do they get the lesser quality ring?
Even so, would you wear a Super Bowl ring?
They all do, by the way.
No,
they all do. They all do. I wouldn't wear it.
That's a personal foul?
Yeah, I agree with you. You don't wear it. Like Willie McGinnis, we worked with him Thursday and Friday from Lake Tahoe. He's won 3 of them. And guess what he does? Never wears them, except when he has to. Like a TV thing or something. He said on the air, he said, I don't wear them. Like, and I asked, how do you pick? Like, do you look at all 3 and go, I like this one today. I'm going with the 04 one today. It's a nice problem to have. But if you're like a low-level employee of the team, you get like the lesser version of a Super Bowl ring, maybe you need some cash. Yeah, I can understand selling it. But if you're a player and you get like the real thing, it's embarrassing if you sell it because it means you weren't good with your money. Right? I mean, like you hear like all these athletes and, Mike Eruzione was at Lake Tahoe again. He sold all his Olympic gear. Like, I mean, and they all say, I'm not hard up for cash. And I'm like, but why are you selling all your stuff then? Like,
here's another question.
Yeah.
Now, we've heard of teams, NFL teams and alike, giving Super Bowl rings to players of the past, former players that didn't win the big game.
Right.
Now, if you were one of those players who received a ring from a team and you didn't win the Super Bowl, would you wear it?
Nope. Ron Jaworski should not be wearing that Eagles ring.
Exactly.
He got one. He should not be wearing it.
Bring him up.
Yeah. But we can bring it up. If I'm Ron Jaworski, and he does wear it, by the way, from what I hear.
Really?
Yeah. I would not wear it. No offense, you didn't earn it. Like, you really didn't earn
Wentz,
it.
do you wear it?
At least Wentz played
He didn't earn
13 games. And they were what? Probably 11-2 in those games or 10-3 in those games, right? You know what? He earned it a heck of a lot more than Ron Jaworski did.
True.
Jaworski's not getting out there and playing. He hasn't played in 25, 30 years. You can't wear it.
You can't.
First of all, why do you get one? Like, if you had nothing to do with the team winning as a player, you don't get a ring. Why is this so hard of a concept? I don't get it. That's just me. Maybe I'm a little hard on this. All right. Now they're announcing it, okay? Because the All-Star game is over. Ken Rosenthal officially announcing it. Manny Machado is to be traded to the Dodgers. What the return is, from all we know, the number 4 prospect in the Dodgers organization, an outfielder, is going to be included in the deal. We got to get a little bit more into this. The All-Star game officially in the books. The AL wins it. Machado to the Dodgers. Where's he going to play, and what does it mean? And by the way, if you're the Dodgers, you already have Corey Seager coming back to play shortstop. Machado wants to play shortstop. Is this going to cause an issue? Some breaking news as well? All right. Interesting stuff coming out of the All-Star game. A lot of that next. Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app. AutoZone has been awarding players who are in the zone in their respective sports all season long. The time has come for you, the fans, to vote on the AutoZone In the Zone Athlete of the Year, the athlete who is truly in the zone all season long. Head to NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone today and vote for who should be the AutoZone In the Zone Athlete of the Year. Nominees are Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, Mike Trout, and Alex Ovechkin. To vote, all you have to do is head to NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone. Again, NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone. After you vote, stop into your local AutoZone for the parts, products, and helpful advice you need to get the job done right. Let's get you what you need. Get in the zone. AutoZone. All right, it's being officially announced. Ken Rosenthal breaking the news at the end of the All-Star game. They weren't going to allow the All-Star game to become the Manny Machado trade talk. They waited until after the game. Rosenthal announcing that Machado will be traded to the Dodgers. It's the rumor that's been out there all day. Here's the thing about it, though. It's easy for this year where Machado's going to play, right? We know where he's playing, and that's going to be, he's going to play shortstop, because they don't have a shortstop. Corey Seager's out all year. But isn't this truly a rental, right? Unless Manny Machado will agree to play third base, what's the deal? So, right now, the deal's agreed upon. They're still going to have the medicals, I guess, that are going to have to be done, because it's going to be a bunch of prospects. They're all going to have to pass medicals. No money will go to the Dodgers from the Orioles. LA will still be under the threshold they want to be under to reset their luxury tax percentage. There is going to be a press conference possibly as early as tomorrow or on Thursday. 5 prospects apparently will be heading back from L.A. to the Orioles. This could be a great trade for the Orioles, frankly. It could. Depending on the prospects, they could replenish that farm system. If the Orioles played their cards right, they had themselves a bidding war between the Phillies, who were offering upwards of 4 prospects, and the Dodgers. And if they had that bidding war, that's where you get the premium prospects. Now, here's the thing. If you're the Phillies, you have to be incredibly disappointed. Remember, most of the Phillies front office are ex-Orioles guys. Secondly, the Phillies are more of a logical landing spot for Manny Machado in the offseason because they're going to have more of a need at shortstop, unless you want that Crawford kid. The fact is, if you're the Dodgers, you have Corey Seager coming back, right? By the way, Manny Machado is not a very good fielding shortstop. So the fact is, unless Manny Machado is willing to play third base, the indications are he wants to move back to shortstop, this is really a rental for the Dodgers. Now, their third baseman is Justin Turner, okay? So Manny Machado is better than Justin Turner. Turner can move to second base. Machado gets slotted at third base. You're not moving Corey Seager as a better fielder to third base to allow Machado to be a butcher at shortstop. You're not going to do that. Now, he's not a butcher. He's just not very good. He's an average fielding guy. Actually, I think when you do the sabermetrics, he actually costs you runs at shortstop. Whatever. I mean, the teams really care at this point. If they can get Manny Machado, they'll make it work. Look, it's a great move for the Dodgers. It is, because they have that needed shortstop right now. If you're the Dodgers, is it worth mortgaging the future to try to win this year? Yeah, I think so. They've come close, All right, there's more news coming out. They're 9th in runs scored right now. Look, so it's not like offense is a major concern, but then again, the Yankees were after him too, and they're scoring a ton of runs. Does Manny Machado upgrade the Dodgers? Yes, no question about it. But is the Dodgers' problem hitting? Is it the health of the pitching staff that's the big problem? This would have made more sense for the Phillies. It would have. Now, the Phillies are going to aggressively go after Manny Machado in the offseason. We know that. But if you're the Phillies, didn't you kind of have to win this? You're battling the Braves for the lead in the National League East. You're going to have to stave off the Washington Nationals, who get healthy, by the way. Steven Strasburg makes his return Friday against Atlanta to start the second half. I think it's a bigger loss for the Phillies than it's a bigger gain for the Dodgers. Prospects, we will know tomorrow, I guess, who they will be. But Manny Machado will be on his way to L.A. as his days as a Baltimore Oriole, from what we now understand, are over. Congratulations to the Dodgers. They win the Manny Machado sweepstakes. They stay under the threshold dollar amount that they wanted to stay under, which is obviously key. And it becomes a point where if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks now, do you have to make a move? Do you counter? Or do you stay pat with what you have? Because right now, if you look at that race in that NL West, I mean, that's what it is. Those are the teams that are now battling right now. And for the Dodgers, the bullpen has kind of shaped itself back up. Kenley Jansen had such a terrible start to this season. But overall, when you just kind of look at what that race is looking at, like in that National League West, the Dodgers are a half game ahead of the Diamondbacks. They're only 2 games ahead of the Colorado Rockies. The San Francisco Giants are only 4 games back. I mean, Sean, you have 4 teams right now, right there within 4 games of each other. 3 of them within 2 games of each other.
Did the Dodgers need to make this move?
No.
I don't think so either. They need bullpen arms. They have inconsistency coming out of the bullpen. That's their need. They're 3rd in the major leagues in team ERA at 3.49, right behind the Yankees.
But they
have good starting pitching.
But that's also a product of the fact that Dodger Stadium is a pitcher's park.
Correct.
Always has been.
But that's impressive with Kershaw being on the DL for so long this year.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I don't know. Is there strategy long-term with Manny Machado? If you're giving up 5 prospects, are you renting a guy for 5 prospects? I understand where the Yankees came from to say, look, we're not putting in Justice Sheffield or Clint Frazier.
Because the National League's wide open. So I can see if they think, all right, let's make this move. Machado, puts us over the hump and it'll get us into the World Series. And, hey, we got Kershaw. We'll pitch 2 out of the 7 games. Let's roll the dice.
And whatever happens in the offseason, who cares? We'll worry about it.
Not a great postseason pitcher.
Right. And I guess the strategy is, look, we can't worry about the long-term Manny Machado situation. Let's get him here for the short term. Let's see if we're going to win a World Series. We'll worry about if we can sign him or not at the end of the season.
Kershaw might opt out, too, after the season. You got to sign him, too.
Yeah.
Or pay him a load of money. But that's already factored in because he has a contract.
Right. And here's the thing. They're going to reset their luxury tax rate anyway, so they may not care about spending a lot of money to maintain Manny Machado. You know what? Listen, I think it's the same strategy as the Yankees. The starting pitching on the market's just not that great. So if you can improve, just improve the bats. And the Dodgers did that, getting Manny Machado. All right, Mike Trout and the commissioner. Interesting stuff next. Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio.
Stay ahead of the game. You're going deep with Dan Schwartzman right now on NBC Sports Radio.
So we hear that Amazon is upping its Prime membership fee from $99 to $119 for free shipping, which just makes Jeff Bezos even richer. He's worth $155 billion now, according to Forbes. That's a 20% hike. Crazy, right? That's not cheap, especially when Walmart's offering free 2-day shipping with no membership fee. That's obviously a way better deal, right? A better deal and an extra $119 in your pocket. Think about what you could do with an extra $119. Well, I'm going to the grocery store tomorrow. $119 goes a long way, by the way, at the grocery store. I might even stop off at the liquor store. $119 goes a long way at the liquor store. Found a nice, good white wine the girlfriend likes. $11 a bottle. That means I can buy I can almost buy a case of it, if you think about it, for $119. It's not bad. A case of, so you could buy 10 of them. Not bad. That's actually a good deal. See, that's what you do with $119. Now, here's the deal for everybody listening. What would you rather do with $119? While you're thinking about it, go to WalmartFreeShipping.com for the chance to instantly win a $119 Walmart gift card and be registered for the $1,119 grand prize drawing. That's WalmartFreeShipping.com for complete rules and details. 2 business day shipping, minimum $35 order, restrictions apply. Big trouble in Milwaukee. Josh Hader, the guy who has been a fantastic relief pitcher for a year and a half now for the Brewers. He is a strikeout machine, by the way. He's practically unhittable, although he did give up a home run today in the All-Star game. Somebody combed through his social media. Back in 2011, at the age of 17, Josh Hader has some very, very disturbing retweets, okay? Producer Sean Guastamacchia, you've gone over some of these, right? He's retweeting, what, KKK, things like that, white power, things like that, homophobic things, N-word things. By the way, some of this he tweeted himself. It's just not retweets. And by the way, if you retweet something, usually that means you agree with what's being said, right? I mean, retweets are endorsements of you agreeing with what somebody else is saying. He wrote himself, I hate gay people, okay? He retweeted KKK and white power, I believe, right? No, he said that himself? Wow. He used the N-word, too. This is a big deal. Now, you wonder, because he's in Milwaukee, does this kind of get swept under the rug? Because, well, who really cares about Milwaukee? Bottom line is this should be cared about. If you're Major League Baseball, you have to immediately look into this. This just tells you once and for all, you just have to get rid of your social media account, okay? If you're a player in professional sports and you think that there might be something in your social media history that could be troubling, you got to close your account. If you're, you know what? If you're an agent for players, okay? The first thing you do is this. Son, we're closing all your social media accounts and we're reopening them with nothing in the past. Fresh, clean Facebook account, fresh, clean Twitter account, fresh, clean Instagram account. It starts today, and we as an agency will monitor everything you post. That should be part of the job description because you can't trust these guys to do it. But if Josh Hader is writing KKK, white powder, I hate gay people, and dropping N-bombs, the guy is probably a racist and an anti-Semite. I hate to say it. I mean, it's one thing to write rap lyrics and drop N-bombs that are already within the context of a song. It's another thing to write KKK and white power and flat out say, I hate gay people. That's incredibly troublesome. You can't chalk it up to being young and dumb and liking rap music, okay? You can't. This is much more serious than the Josh Allen and the Dante DiVincenzo situations where they were retweeting rap lyrics that had the N-words in it. This is on a much different level. And this is on a baseball better suspend his ass. That's the level of this. I mean, if you're Josh Hader, I'm not trying to play games here, but it's kind of a pun. He's a hater. But this is a serious level. If you're the Milwaukee, look, if you're, Mark Antanasio, Mark Antanasio, I believe is the last name, is the owner of that team. Okay? By the way, if you know that name, all right, Josh Hader's come out now, said he's ready for the consequences. I would like somebody to ask him flat out, are you a racist? He said he was young, immature, and stupid. No. You're 17. You know what white power, KKK, I hate gays, and dropping N-bombs mean. Okay? That's not young and stupid. Young and stupid is walking into a grocery store and be like, guys, I'm going to be the cool one to steal a pack of gum. Right? Dropping words like that is not young and stupid.
You did when you were younger? I never did, because I guess maybe I was curious. What do we say is young and stupid?
No,
that we do at 17.
No, I agree with your example. I just was wondering if you did that.
I never did that. No, I was a good kid.
An apple?
I was in 4th grade.
You were a healthy thief.
Yeah, well, I was hungry.
This is much more serious than young and dumb at 17 years old. Don't you agree?
Yes.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Look, if you're what should happen to him? If you're the Brewers,
what happened to Joy Reid? MSNBC.
Not much, right?
No.
Here's the other example in baseball.
I'm just using an example.
What happened to Delmon Young when he went all anti-Semite in New York City? What is 3 games or something? 2-3 games, something ridiculously bad like that. I mean, that's like, you know what? In baseball, doesn't get called to the carpet for that. But Delmon Young should have gotten a much stiffer sentence than he did. That was utterly ridiculous, and the Tigers took him right back a week later, you know?
Well, Chris Bosio
got fired. You're right. The Brewers aren't going to fire Josh Hader because, well, he's a tremendous relief pitcher. But what's a good punishment? Like, if you're Major League Baseball, you can't just say, hey...
And he's not denying it.
No, he's admitting to it by saying, hey, I'll deal with the consequences. I'm ready to face the consequences.
He's not quoting rap lyrics. In some of them, he is.
Right.
But there's enough there on his own that, that excuse...
Honestly, you have to question, is he a racist? Is he an anti-Semite? You have to question that. I think it's a legitimate question to ask a guy who's willing to write
what did
that.
He say?
KKK, white power? Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe he just hates blacks. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't understand they hate Jews, too. But maybe he just hates everybody.
No, I think that's racist. I don't think it's anti-Semitic.
Okay, well, they hate everybody. So maybe, I don't know if he's smart enough to realize that. So maybe he just hates blacks.
17, probably not.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to flat out ask him, are you a racist? If he says no, I would say, then why are you putting this on there? At 17, you're mature enough to know if you are, in fact, if you like black people or not. At 17, you know this. You're a high school junior or a senior at this point. By the way, he's from Maryland. This is just awful stuff here. I mean, if you're baseball, you have to honestly think about really laying the hammer down here. None of this 2 or 3 game suspension nonsense.
What would be acceptable to Dan Schwartzman?
That's a great question.
John Rocker type suspension?
It should be at that level. Right? I mean, if baseball wants to play games and say, well, he said it when he was young, before he was drafted into organized baseball, he gets a break for that. He's mature now. No. John Rocker got suspended for a while, right? It has to be John Rocker-esque. I mean, maybe he's out to miss the second half of the season.
28 games.
Wow. Is 40 games enough? I mean, would you say 40 games?
Reduced to 14.
Okay, from 28 to 14. You suspend him 25 games? Is that enough of a punishment? Should it be more? Should it be half the season in the postseason?
More.
More.
What's your baseline?
I don't know if there is a baseline for this. Rocker was how long ago? 15 years ago? 2000. So it was 18 years ago. It was 28 games, knocked down at 14. I have no idea why they would even knock it down. I remember what he wrote. It was just utterly ridiculous. Nick, 40 games?
I'd say the rest of the season.
Rest of the season, the postseason?
Mm-hmm. Well, then...
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm okay with that. I think that's fair.
Realistically, though. Be realistic.
Realistically, I think...
Not getting that.
25 games.
This was just 6 years ago.
I know. It's not just a young, dumb mistake chalked up to a lack of maturity. I think the guy's a flat-out racist. There's no other explanation for it. And here's the other thing, guys. Think about this. Baseball is a very multiracial sport, isn't it? More so than the other sports. You have Latin players. You have some black players as well, right? If you play with Josh Hader on the Milwaukee Brewers, how do you view him as your teammate now? If you're a Latin player or a black player...
Lorenzo Cain?
Yeah, if you're Lorenzo Cain, who's a talkative guy...
Trying to think of African-Americans on the team.
How do you view this guy now? How do you ever look at him and be like, yeah, he's my teammate, I got his back? I don't think you can. I mean, this is a real big problem here in the sense of what it's going to do to the locker room. You look at that Brewers lineup right now, in terms of who's on it. There's plenty of, here, Jeremy Jeffries is black.
According to the LA Times, MLB will consider a statement tomorrow, Wednesday.
Eric Timms is black. Lorenzo Cain. You have, a lot of Hispanic players on that team. Jesus Aguilar, we just saw him in the All-Star game. Yeah, big problems. Junior Guerra, Julius Chassin. Yeah, big problems here. Maybe that's the bigger issue here, Sean. The fact is, forget what the suspension is. The question is, can he face people in that Brewers locker room, and how will they look at him now? Because now you kind of think about how he's viewing them, right? How does he look at Lorenzo Cain? How does he look at Jeremy Jeffries?
I'm just trying to gauge what kind of suspension we could. What's the precedent?
I guess Rocker's the precedent. 28 games, knocked down to 14.
So, yeah.
18 years later.
I think we'll see that.
I think you have to be stricter 18 years later. 30 games without getting knocked down, potentially? Could happen. Interesting stuff.
I don't know. It's different, though. It's social media. He was 17. Rocker was an adult. They'll talk about that.
But honestly, who was worse? I mean, look, Rocker was hideous with his. But if you're baseball,
worse.
But that's what baseball has to look at, right?
If you look at Ray Rice punching his wife, was that worse than Greg Hardy? No, they're both bad. I mean,
no, but the thinking is, if you're baseball, you went 28 games down to 14. They're
the same.
Yeah,
put them in the same bundle.
All right, put them in the same bundle.
Although Hader is younger than Rocker.
By the way, Rocker gets 28 games. Delmon Young gets like 2 or 3. What? That's Bud. What the hell is Bud Selig doing? We'll yell at Roger Goodell because he has no precedence in terms of giving out suspensions. They're all over the place, right? But what the hell was Bud Selig doing? Unbelievable. I'll forget Manny Machado, Josh Hader, and his Twitter. The big topic coming out of the All-Star game now.
Let's make a prediction, though.
Yeah.
How many games?
30. I'm predicting 30. Nick, what are you predicting?
Season.
Okay. Sean?
25.
Okay. 25 30 in this season.
Down to like 18, 15.
Unbelievable. Well, that's what it is. Josh Hader got to be answering a lot of questions coming up now as baseball second half will start Friday.
Being 10 games.
Ironic his name is Hader.
I know, right? By the way, if it's 10 games, shame on baseball.
Well, I could see it being 10 games.
Isn't this Rob Manfred's first big test when it comes to something like this?
I'll have to think about that.
Right? They may be. Is he strict? Is he not? Will the Players Association come to bat for Josh Hader?
So you don't care that he was 17?
No.
That's not an excuse for you?
No. 17. At 17, you're 1 year away from being drafted into the military. 1 year away from being... Look, you could drive at 17, right? They trust you in a car. At 17, you're 1 year away from smoking cigarettes.
Here's another thing.
17's not a juvenile. You commit murder at 17, you're being tried as an adult.
Does it matter that he's a really good player?
It shouldn't.
I know that, but
it will.
Matter?
It does. Absolutely. Look, the Brewers don't want to get rid of him. If he was some AAA pitcher who was a B-level prospect, he'd get released tomorrow. But he's an all-star, one of the top relievers in baseball over the last 2 years. To me, the locker room issue is the biggest problem here. I would not welcome this guy back to the locker room if I'm on the Milwaukee Brewers, period. Going deep, Dan Schwartzman, NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.